was reading a book recently about, it was called Supernatural Strategies of Forming a Rock and Roll Group. In the book, he says something about reasons for being in a rock and roll band. And he said, reason number one, you want to make money. And he's like, no, bad reason. There's a million other things you could do to make way more money, way easier. It's to be more successful in your amorous relationships. And he said the same thing, no, like you think you're gonna get more girls, like go into advertising, like do something different, or movies, something that's not so demanding and weird. And then the third choice was you wanna impact some kind of cultural change. And he was saying, well, there you go, like that's the way to do it. Like rock and roll can get into people's homes, and songs can make an impact on people's lives in a huge way. High Road was one of the first songs that we wrote for the record, and it went through a few different cuts, and I remember at one time there was a version of it that was over 6 minutes long, and the ending had this insane like psychedelic swell that went on for 3 minutes, and there was like 100 tracks. And when we finally were going to make the cut for the record, we were listening to it, and once we'd heard that like immediately exciting, really long noise section for more than 100 times, we were like, let's just make it shorter. It didn't really make any sense anymore. But that's what's satisfying about going out and playing live, is I think that a lot of these songs were put together with the idea of being able to play them live and to create a more exciting set. And so we get to go a little crazy with everything in a way that I think is gratuitous on a record.
I'm excited about playing new songs, like learning all the new songs and playing them live, just because we have been playing, the past 2 years touring on one record, so it's going to be nice to be able to play a different set in every city, every night. So.
I was talking to one of my friends in another band about how funny it is to play new songs, because it feels like so much of, I'm a victim of this too, what audiences do when they go to shows. There's a set of cues that the bands create, and people respond how they know they're supposed to respond, and you hear like the hook of the song you like, and you're like, woo, and everything like kind of goes the way that you expect it to go most of the time. When you play new songs that people haven't heard, it's really like the only moment you get a real dialogue with people, because they don't know how to act yet. They don't know how to respond to each moment. They don't know when they're supposed to be excited or sing along, and there's a real conversation happening. Like you'll look at some dude's face in the front row who is just like wigging out, and he'll just be like sitting there just listening, which is really awesome, because
not much movement going on. A lot of like studying, like is this song gonna suck, or what's gonna happen?
And by the end, if you can like win everybody over with it, then that's like the most exciting feeling. I think the genesis of I Could Hardly Make You Mine was a selfish endeavor of just really wanting to play guitar in a big way, because our band has, never really been a guitar-forward band. Whenever we work with new sound guys, we always tell them, like, electronics, drums, vocals, guitars, you can leave them kind of in the back. Don't worry about it. And I'm proud of that about our music, and I don't agree that the guitar is dead. I think I was reading an article about that recently. I think like every 5 years someone comes out and says the guitar is dead, and they're never right. But you know, like I mean, now that we're as a band able to do shred some solos, we kind of figured why not. The name of our new record is Static. It's something like you know, even with the last record, we've always been an artwork first kind of band. Like we'll sit around and we'll come up with the idea of what the record's going to be before we make it. And I think that that's like a constructive thing for us because, for one, like, you know, music wasn't always the first thing that we did. We're kind of visual people. Plus, you know, most of the time it's just the two of us in the studio working on everything, and we don't really jam with like a full band, so we have to have like an idea of what we're going to do. Otherwise, we just end up running around in circles. And for this record, we knew that we wanted to have more of an emphasis on distortion rather than reverb, like the last record. And we knew it was going to be called Static, and we had a bunch of TVs set up all over the studio, just kind of like blasting, not necessarily the sound of Static, but just like, you know, ornamentation. And we'd like always kind of stare at them for a weird inspiration.
I was more nervous recording the first record after the EP than I was about this record. Just because we had only come out with a few songs, and then we had been touring on, maybe we were playing a 6 or 7 song set for a year straight.
And it was just, that was like the real make or break moment, you know, like it was, we had gotten this goodwill from people off this like thing that we offhandedly did in our apartment over a weekend. And then we had to make like a real record, which is like a big scary word. And we did it. And this time around, it felt like, well, we've done that before. We know how to do that. And so it felt a lot more natural. And we were.
And it's like we toured a year before on the EP, and then we did a year touring on the record. And I mean, opposite of what he said, kind of, I felt like we did work to make fans that actually like enjoyed our music, and I figured that they'd be curious to hear a second record.
The first like tours were so funny. Like we'd play New York City, and we would play in front of like a sold out show of 250 people, and that at the time was like inconceivable, amazing. And then we'd go play Lawrence, Kansas, headlining, and play to like 6 drunks who wandered in the bar, you know? It's really confusing these days how like what internet attention will actually do for you, you know? Like it's still like, I think that with bands, it's the kind of boots on the ground thing still makes a huge difference. You know, like even a song like Go Outside, we get emails from people saying that they, like one dude emailed us saying that he works in a dark lab with bacteria all day. He doesn't see sunlight all day long, and that he'd listen to our music and it would make him feel better about his like very important and smart job. And that's amazing. And one dude was agoraphobic and hadn't left his house in 20 years and listened to that song and was like, this is the time to do it. So you never know, you know? I mean, I think if you're just emotionally like honest as a band and smart about what you do, you just hope that people are going to take the songs and turn them into whatever they need to be for them. You know, like it's cooler to not have an agenda. I mean, you want to have an agenda, but you almost don't want to talk about it. You just want people to make up their own history or their own feeling of what it is. But hopefully they take something like that from what we're doing over here. Hey, I'm Brian.
And I'm Madeline from Cults, and you're watching Baeblemusic.